in the middle. Think about the factors that could push that issue in a positive direction that you want it to do. On this side, you've got the negative factors that could hold back and are holding back the issue on that side. The only thing to say is you don't want to direct the opposite one on that side to that side because it won't really achieve anything. You then think about the actions that you could take and would like to take to push these things in a positive direction to at least double the positive factors. You put actions down here to reduce the negative factors by at least 50%. I said it could take an hour, 2 hours, or half a day sometimes to do that. It's particularly powerful when you get a few people in a room brainstorming. Inevitably, you're going to come up with a lot more than we've come up with here. The next thing you then need to do is sort of Pareto them, because there'll be sort of 20% of these ideas that are going to have 80% of the impact, and you won't go away and do all of these. So think about which ones are the most powerful, and then actually go away and do them, and I guarantee it will give you some improvement. I don't know how much. As I said, continuous improvement is just about a little bit. You can use it on personal issues as well, and just in the minute I've got left, I'll share how I've used it, but it doesn't always work. So I used it with my son quite a while ago, when he wasn't studying hard enough. Surprise, surprise, he's a boy. So we started that, lack of studying, and we drew all the arrows. And why it didn't work is I said, what positive things could you do to make you study more? What negative things are holding you back? Can't think of anything. So clearly it doesn't work then. But what we then did was I then wrote on a piece of paper 10 things that could help him on that side, and 10 things that were negative there, and I got him to pick his top 3. And then we produced a lovely plan, stuck it on the fridge, and then he didn't adhere to it. But anyway, there we go. So there we go. Thank you very much for listening. I'm going to rip this off and give it to this gentleman.
Okay, so I'm a quality improvement professional. That's my day job. And I've never seen that tool before. So another one to add to my toolkit. You always learn, right? Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to introduce our next speaker. And she is female, yay, because we haven't had one all morning, right? She is from One Stop Insurance, so tighten your seatbelt. She is the relationship director for One Stop Insurance. She has been in the insurance industry for over 11 years and is passionate about helping businesses and charities access the right insurance for their needs. Please welcome Anna Wilkinson.
Thank you. And hello, everybody. It's been nice to chat to some of you already, but it's a different angle up here, isn't it? So I'm going to tell you some stuff that's quite interesting. If a building is insured for £500,000, but it has an actual value of £1 million, and then a claim is made on that building, did you know that your insurance company may, if the claim was for £100,000, did you know that the insurance company may only pay you £50,000? Because you underinsured by 50%, or any other percentage for that matter, then that percentage will be removed from the overall cost of your claim. That is called average. So I'm Anna, and I work with One Stop Insurance Consultants. We are an insurance brokerage with Christian values. I was going to tell you all about our business today and the amazing team that we've got, but actually I thought that this was more important. Something happened a few weeks ago. We've got a client who's got 3 flats. Underneath the 3 flats, there's 2 shops, commercial units. And he had this insured for £500,000. We offer a valuation service at each renewal, so we were chatting to him and said, you know what? Cost of living's going up, don't we all know that? and actually, sums insured are being affected as well. Building sums insured are going up. Everything's going up, let's face it. So we advised him to go through our valuation service and have that sort of reviewed. Turns out his building is worth 2.5 million. in a situation where he would have made a claim, that average would have been extortionate. He would have lost a serious amount of money. Now, okay, maybe we don't feel too sorry for him if he's a nice landlord with lots of properties, but if you think that's a church or a charity or your home, all of a sudden this is affecting every single one of us here if you've got a building to insure. So I almost urge you to go and check your home insurance policy and make sure that policy is actually correct, covering you for the right amount on your building sum insured, particularly if you are involved with the church or if you've got commercial premises. Really worthwhile. So Sally, my colleague, and I have a stand, and we would absolutely love to discuss with you all that sort of thing and everything to do with insurance. And we will be there if you want to come and chat to us during lunch. My P, because, who would we be, is prize draw. We have a £100 prize draw up for grabs today. If you win, you get to choose a church or a charity of your choice to give that money to. So please do drop a business card in the bowl on our stand. We've also got some freebies, so help yourselves. But thank you for listening. Although I'm the second female speaker, it's a 5-minute slot, so I will hand over to the next person. But I'm Anna. We are One Stop Insurance, and you're all amazing. So God bless you.
Thank you. Thanks. Okay. Our next speaker, this is really interesting, is a international coffee expert for coffee lovers. He is a business consultant and coach with specialist expertise in the coffee industry. He started, grew, and sold his own coffee shop before leading coffee programs for some of the UK's largest coffee chains. Currently working with Gales Bakery as interim head of coffee. Josh also consults with innovative and redemptive businesses in the coffee space, as well as coaching small business owners as a business advisor with MPH Accountants. Josh is part of Numa Church in Ashford, Kent, leading the gathering projects and communities. Let's welcome Josh Brown.
Wonderful. It's great to be with you all here today. This is a wonderful event, and I just want to say thanks to Simon, Amy, King, Tatiana, and the team. So let's just give them some applause just now. Fantastic. Yes, I am the coffee guy. That is me. Not found often without a coffee in my hand, but don't worry, this isn't coffee. It's alcohol. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, what we're going to do is maybe 25 minutes or so. I'm going to talk for maybe half of that time, and then what I'd really like to do is just basically share some stories, and then for you in your tables to be able to reflect. I've got some kind of, I guess, big picture questions that I'd love to put to you for you to reflect on as it kind of, I guess, interacts with your own business. So yeah, let's kind of dive into it. King, if we go on to it. So yeah, lessons from the coffee business, coffee school. I'm not going to teach you how to make coffee, although I could. That could be fun. But coffee is such an interesting business. It really is. It's fascinating. Hopefully you like coffee. I guess at the very least you don't hate coffee. That's a kind of a good requirement for what we're going to talk about. Hopefully I also won't get too technical. Coffee is a very nerdy business, so apologies if I go down a bit of a deep dive rabbit hole, but I find it interesting, so hopefully you might do too. During the break earlier on, I was asking some of the fine people here, like, what did you want to get out of today? And I've not been to this conference before, and it was kind of interesting to me, this sort of intersection between sort of faith and business. So most of my stories are probably going to be around the more businessy side of things, as I guess a lot of the talks have been to date, today as well, which have been really interesting. But I thought I'd just kind of kick off by sharing a bit about like how I got into what I do, and to some extent why. So I have a background in faith. Faith is really important to me, always has been growing up. And I've always known that there was a bit of God had put something inside of me to do something entrepreneurial, as I think is probably shared with a lot of us here today. And so that's really how I got into coffee, was an idea that there was something that was in me that was calling me to do something else. And I think that's probably shared for a lot of us. For me, that looked like setting up a coffee shop back in sort of 2012. It was actually only 5 minutes walk from here in Canterbury. And that really took a bit of faith in terms of, do I believe in this thing that God has put in me? And then, do I want to do something about it? And often I find that life with God and the kind of the adventure of faith really much is kind of just trying something out and putting one step in front of the other. And oftentimes that God is just asking, like, what do you want to do? And I think we have this idea that there is some right or wrong decision or direction that we go. And actually a lot of the times that it's just taking what we believe to be that right next action and God being with us as we go and do it. So the reason I tell you that is because I feel like I'd like to share this with you. So in 2015, I think this is 2016 actually, and this is, like I say, this is maybe the only kind of faith-based stuff that I wanted to share with you, but I think it's important because if you are struggling for vision or direction for your business or even personally, I would encourage you to do a couple of things. Firstly, I think it's really important to obviously pray and seek direction and all that kind of stuff for your business, but also to have people who can speak into you as a person and what that looks like for your business. In 2016, me and my wife, we were planting a church at the time. I didn't even mention that. It's one of the other things that we've done. We've done lots of cool stuff. And we went to some other friends of ours who were planting a church. And at the end of that, this guy came up to me and he got his wallet out and he gave me 4 £10 notes. And he said to me, I'd never met this guy before, he said to me, this 4 £10 notes, what this is, I'm believing, this is 4 years of financial blessing for you and your family. I was like, wow. All right, that's like, when people say stuff to you, that's one of the ones that I want to believe in, right? Like, I'm like, sure, I'm taking that one. And amazing stuff happened in those 4 years. That 4 years finished in May 2020, I think it was. During the course of that time, the most obvious one that I pinpointed later on was that I wasn't sure what to do at that time work-wise and actually ended up staying with the company that I was working with. And yet I moved from 5 days a week to 4 days a week, freeing up time to do more kind of redemptive kingdom stuff. But I actually got paid more for 4 days a week work than I did for 5. It's like, how clear can that link be? And often we don't make that. Anyway, that finished in May 2020. In August 2020, we went up to see some friends of ours in Carlisle. And so the other guys were in Kent. These two people had never met each other. And I was just talking to this chap about what we were doing at that time, where I was with what I was doing with work and uncertainty and not too sure and in the midst of the pandemic. And he got out his wallet and he gave me 3 £10 notes. And he said, hey, Josh, this is 3 £10 notes. And what this is for 3 years of financial risk for you and your family. I was like, ooh. But he didn't know this other guy. I hadn't told him the story. So how clear can that be? And for me, that has influenced, that was in 2020. So it ends, I guess, next summer. But that is a season and a kind of a calling that I'm living under right now. And do you know how helpful that is? That is so helpful. So I have this kind of metric and something that I believe God has said over me personally that influences most of the decisions that I make. I have a bunch of people that I trust who can speak into my life and that I can run decisions past. If you don't have that as a business owner here today, I would absolutely encourage you, whether you have a faith in Jesus or not, and that having a bunch of people separate and outside of your business who you can run decisions past is one of the most helpful things that you can do. So if you take nothing else from this talk, and in fact this one's for the coffee haters, then please go ahead and do that. All right, let's jump into it. So I've got 3 main points for you. Here's the first one. Specialization is for insects. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is coffee is actually made up of different businesses, right? So in coffee, now we have at least 3 different disciplines. So we have green coffee. So who knows, hands up here if you know that coffee is a fruit. Okay, well, you're going to get a lot of info here today. Coffee's a fruit, right? It goes on a tree. Coffee grows as a cherry. Very simply put, you take there's 2 beans inside each cherry. You wash all the fruit off the cherry, you get the beans out, you roast them, and then you grind them, get tasty coffee. So coffee, is a fruit. And green coffee, which by that we mean unroasted coffee, is the kind of green coffee beans, is a discipline in and of itself. Like, you want to go and taste coffee, you have to go to origin, and you have to go and you have to actually taste the coffee, and you grade coffee. All coffee is graded. You look for defects in the coffee. A lot of green coffee is actually agronomy. So it's all the science and kind of art and skill of actually how you grow coffee trees, managing biodiversity, shade growing, all this kind of stuff. It's very, very separate from the experience of actually drinking coffee. Next, we have roasting coffee, turning those green beans brown. This is an art form and a skill in and of itself as well. So in this maybe sort of 15-minute process of roasting coffee, there's lots that can go wrong. And even the best coffee, if you start with it as green coffee, if you muck up the roasting, it's going to taste terrible. It can taste burnt, baked, bitter. None of these things are what we want coffee to taste like. Coffee is delicious. And then lastly, we've got brewing, like the side that we'll be most familiar with here, most of us in the room, where you go and get your coffee and you interact with your barista, and they take roasted coffee as a bean and make it into a delicious cup of coffee for you. The funny thing is that these are completely 3 different disciplines, right? So a barista will have absolutely no idea of agronomy. Like, they will not know much at all about how coffee is grown or processing or much like that. A coffee roaster won't know much about green coffee, and they probably won't be able to make you coffee either. And so these are completely different disciplines. If you've ever been to Coffee Origin, you're not going to get served a flat white on a farm in Peru. They've never heard of a flat white farmers there. What they're going to make you is coffee made very, very traditionally. And so we've got completely 3 different disciplines in coffee. Why is that important? Because in my role as a kind of consultant, it's important that I can speak to all of them. And actually, I found this to be the case in everything that I do as a consultant, or kind of some of the companies that I work with as head of coffee. And that speaks, I think, to a lot of kind of my background. I actually, before I got into coffee, I studied music. And in music, there's this idea that, because everyone's struggling for jobs as a musician, that you have to say yes first and then worry about later. Like, can you go and play Latin jazz for me on a cruise ship for like 3 months? I'm like, sure, yeah, we can do that. And very much the same thing in pretty much all of our businesses. So even if your business is an accountancy firm, or you run a building firm, or you're a plumber, turns out that actually you probably need to be able to do social media. You need to do content. You need to do marketing. You need to do recruitment. All of these kind of roles that actually are maybe not your expertise. So I have enjoyed doing this. That's one of the most fun things that I get to do as a consultant. Earlier this year, somebody hired me to speak to them as an expert, apparently, on Japanese curry buns in the UK market. And that's definitely the most odd thing that I've done, being paid to go into Chinatown and eat these Japanese curry buns and then talk about how they might go or not go in the UK market. But it would be very easy for me to say no to that. And yet I said yes, because I think a lot of the times that we restrict ourselves to thinking that we're an expert about something. And I tell you what, most of the time, I think people are blagging it. Certainly that's my experience. At some level, we're all winging it on something, right? Like, do I know about curry buns? Absolutely not. Was I able to give a lot of value to the client? Yes, very much so. And I would encourage you all, like, the more and more people that I work with, the more I understand that mostly we're all blagging it. So there's loads of opportunities there. Tons, loads of opportunities outside the kind of specialism of what you're doing. Second point, know your business. I absolutely loved Dan's presentation earlier on when he talked about purpose. I'm actually doing a talk in a couple of weeks at the European Coffee Awards. That's a thing, by the way, in case you didn't know, European Coffee Awards. We also have we have coffee competitions. There is a World Barista Championship, UK Barista Championship. I'm one of the head judges for that, which is very fun. But yeah, European Coffee Awards in 2 weeks' time, and I'm going to just rip a lot of Dan's talk, to be honest with you, because I thought it was absolutely fantastic, which is really good. Right now, I'm doing some work with a company called Gale's Bakery, so I'm their head of coffee for the next 9 months or so. Wonderful business, and they could not be clearer around their purpose and vision. When I came in and I started working with them, hands up if you've ever been to Gale's Bakery, by the way. They're not big down here. Okay, wonderful. We've got at least a couple. That's great. It looks amazing, right? Like, I loved the business as an outsider. Like, the cinnamon buns, like, there's just really delicious food. And so one of the first things that I was trying to do when I went and started talking to them was like what's not what we're telling the customer here? Like, where are we cutting the corners? Like, what's the, like, you never want to see, like, how the sausage is made. And it turns out that everything is as it seems, and it is absolutely delicious. And that is because their purpose is as big as their purpose is to fix the broken food system. That's what they want to do. That's their mission, their goal, their vision. That's why they exist. And having been around for quite a while, they've been around for sort of 17 years or so, and they have experience in doing that. And it all starts from one person who believed that bread should not be full of preservatives and additives, but actually really good bread is the stable, the purpose of community and family and quality. And out of that comes a multi-million-pound business. So, know your business from purpose, but also what are the things that you don't know about your business? And a couple of stories here from the industry for you. Actually checked this earlier on. There's somebody in the room who works for this coffee business that I probably shouldn't name, but is translated black coffee in Italian. So this business right here, there is if you go and order a coffee at this business, they have different buttons that they press, right? So if you want an espresso, or if you want a flat white in this business, you're going to get a coffee pressed with button 2. And that gives you roughly sort of 30, 40 milliliters of coffee. That's a double espresso. It's delicious, it's tasty. However, if you order a latte, a cappuccino, or a Americano, or any of those other drinks that basically take a lot more milk than a flat white does, you're going to get a coffee from button 4. And what that does is it dispenses 90 milliliters of coffee. Anybody want to guess why? Oh, I love that. This is the pregnant pause. It is because pressing button 4 rather than button 2, and the difference in the two things there, so the sort of 40 or 50 mil, times by 600 shops, and the amount of coffees that this particular coffee chain makes, saves them over £1 million a year in milk. So that is the entire reason why. There's not a quality difference here. It's only to save the money in milk. And so that is something that they figured out. But even if you wanted to drop that, and believe me, some of the guys in the coffee team there would absolutely love to drop that and to just serve one espresso for everything. It's really hard to do that when it's making you £1 million on the bottom line. So next story is around soy milk. Let's talk about soy milk as well. So I did some work for this business, and they were using this fantastic soy milk. It's called Bonsoy. If you like soy milk, Bonsoy is the best of the lot. It's absolutely fantastic. It's delicious. It's also very expensive. And this business was charging their customers an additional fee for milk, alternative milks, as a lot of businesses still do to this day. And they were charging their customers 40p for soy milk, which actually is quite a lot in this day and age. However, their menu also contained 8-ounce drinks, 12-ounce drinks, and 16-ounce drinks. And what we worked out very quickly was that a 16-ounce drink, which is about half a litre, basically, of coffee, they were charging their customers 40p to put soy milk in this drink, using nearly half a litre of soy milk each time, But the carton of soy milk for 1 litre is costing them £3. So for every 16-ounce drink, they're actually losing a significant sum of money. And we figured out that over the cost of, and the course of each year, this was costing them £150,000 just in milk that they were undercharging or giving away because of the cost to it. So know your business is absolutely right. One more. Okay, this one is not specifically coffee related, but is a cake business that I also did some work with. So this cake business, they offered home delivery to their customers, and they did that by geolocation, right? So if you're within, I don't know, I think it was 5 miles of their shops, then they would actually deliver from their shop to you. And so their staff would do that. They would leave the shop, deliver cakes to the customers, and then come back. The problem is that one of their shops is in Portsmouth. And so what actually happened was you could order a cake. Steve knows where I'm going here. You could order a cake if you lived on the Isle of Wight for about, let's say, £30, and somebody from the shop would get the cake, go to the hover terminal, get on the hovercraft, get a taxi the other side and deliver it to you, and then make all that journey, free delivery for like a £30 cake. So know your business. Like one of my questions to you in a minute is going to be, what don't you know about your business? Like, is there something that you are just not sure about, a product that makes you money? Do you lack an understanding of a revenue stream that actually you'd like to get into, but you're not sure about? So what don't you know about your business? Just a couple of quick points here. The world's biggest taxi firm owns no vehicles. One of the world's most valuable retailers has no inventory. The world's largest accommodation provider has no property. Uber, Alibaba, and Airbnb. So, like, often the strength of our businesses is not what we necessarily, or what our customers kind of think it is. So you absolutely need to know your strengths. Very true, actually, in coffee. Starbucks, because of their loyalty app, has well over, the last stat I could find was well over £1 billion stored in their loyalty app, much more in cash than most banks. So super interesting there as well. Know the strengths of your business. Okay, last one. We're doing all right for time here. Know your customers. So the question here is going to be, why do your customers choose you? And we think that we know, but eventually your customers are going to tell you. So do you get what I mean by that? So we think we know why our customers choose us. But in the long run, they're going to tell you eventually. You're going to find out. If you start to raise prices and it turns out they're choosing you because of value, you're going to find out. If you start to drop quality and it turns out that they don't like that, you're going to know it's because of quality. So we need to find out. That's the first thing. The second thing is, one of my favorite things about coffee is, how do you make a difference in your customers' lives? So people buy from people, really. And one of the things that I love most about coffee is that as a barista, or anybody who's, actually, this would be really interesting. Hands up who went and got a coffee either this morning or yesterday? Who's been to a coffee shop? Great, it's about half of us. Fantastic. And that's super interesting because everybody was worried about the coffee business when the pandemic hit. Oh no, like, coffee shops are not going to exist anymore. Transport coffee shops in particular, like airports, train stations, they're all going to die. And as it turns out, people love getting their coffee. It's the same lesson we learned in 2008 in the financial crisis, this thing called the lipstick effect, or I might have got that wrong. But the idea that people will still pay for small luxuries, right? Turns out that people will still pay for coffee. And the thing is, it's not because that you can't make it yourself. We can all make coffee at home. You can make delicious coffee at home. So why are we going out and getting it? It's because people buy from people. This is one of the lessons that I learned when I had my own coffee shop, is that I could really, and I used to change my coffees all the time. And so one day I would have a coffee that tasted like raspberries, and the next day I'd have a coffee that tasted like walnuts. But people would still come back. And it's not because that they appreciated one particular coffee that I had or the way in which I did that, but it was they appreciated the service, the environment, and all the other things besides the quality of the coffee. Everybody thinks they love coffee from your local coffee shop. But does anybody actually believe that the coffee in Starbucks is better than the coffee from the independents? No, of course not. So why are people still going to Starbucks? It's because they're valuing what they're getting there. And I think we have to know that in terms of what do you value about your customers. The art of getting coffee, or the act of getting coffee, I absolutely love it in terms of actually making a difference to a customer's life and day. And if you've never kind of like experienced this in a coffee shop, it's so valuable. And I guess my final question to you is how do you do this in your customers' lives? And if you don't know, then you absolutely should know. It's something that we're thinking a lot about in coffee right now because of the incoming sort of, cost of living crisis. Are people going to stop getting coffee? Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But one thing that we can do is that we can make sure that when customers are coming and getting their coffee from us or from any other business that you might be in, that we are giving them the best service possible. People who work in coffee don't choose necessarily to work in coffee. It's still very much the case. Like, nobody is growing up. My kids aren't saying to me when they're 2, I want to be a barista when I grow up. It typically doesn't work like that. You sort of land in it because you're in a stopgap. You're looking for a job to earn some money in. And people stay in it because turns out they really, really enjoy it. And so there is this act of getting coffee as a customer, and it's your first thing of the day. You're bleary-eyed. Maybe you're having a bad day, and actually, in this experience of making coffee, so somebody just making something for you, of grinding the beans, extracting the coffee, pouring the milk, and doing that all with love and attention and service, that actually can make such a big difference to people's lives. And it sounds silly, but I'm telling you, I've seen it thousands of times. So people make connections over coffee. People start businesses over coffee. People get married to other people because of chats in the coffee shops. This kind of thing happens. And what I'm saying is, I've seen that so much, and that's like the secret sauce of kind of coffee, the sort of coffee culture. That's what we're talking about. And I believe that can be the same thing, absolutely, for each and every one of your businesses. Whether you are an accountancy firm, whether you are a building firm, a web design agency. I bought something from, let me finish with this story. It's not my best one. I should have finished with the best one. But this is top of mind. I just bought something from Ironmongery Direct. Okay? And I don't know these guys. They're not local, but I need a new patio door lock. And in that, what's that? What's that? Oh, 5 minutes. I thought you had a better story. I was about to give you the mic. And in this package, right, they sent me a catalogue, but they also wrote a little handwritten note, and then they put some chocolates in. I'm like, I like these guys. And it's that, who thought that you could get good service from an ironmongery internet company? Not me, and yet these guys have found a way to make it work. And so that's my question to you. Let's get the hop back one for me, King, if you would, and let's get these questions up there. Oh, you can scan that QR code if you like, by the way. That will link you to me. Sorry, I'm going to move out of the way. Let's go one back. And in your groups, for the next 5 minutes on your tables, feel free to chat and reflect on these 3 questions. So first of all, where are the opportunities in your business? Outside of your specialization, what are you interested in? I'm working on some really cool ideas that have nothing to do with coffee right now, because I find it fun and cool. Number 2, know your business. So what don't you know about your business? And number 3, know your customers. Why do your customers choose you? I'm going to wrap up there, but take the next 5 minutes just to kind of
Well done, well done.
I'm going to give you this.
Thank you.
So we'll just give them 5 minutes until you start.
Thanks.
Is the quality how you make a coffee is it's 15 seconds.
Okay. Sorry to cut in. I know you're having some great conversations, but lunch is not very far away. So I want to encourage you to continue this conversation over lunch. Just got me for a few minutes now before we run round with the mic. And we're going to give you an opportunity to promote your business. So get ready. If you want to put your hand up and volunteer to receive the mic, and just give us, 30 seconds or a minute on your business, what you do, what your area of specialism is, who's your perfect client. So if you want to put your hand up and promote your business, one of the things I think we need to know is who's your perfect client, who are you looking for? And then you've got a full sales force in this room who might know your perfect client. So that's why I think this is a good opportunity in the next few minutes. But before we do that, I just would like to talk to you about the charity that we're raising money for today. Thank you so much to ASITS in particular. Without ASITS, who've really supported us every year in the King's Summit, we wouldn't be able to cover, the costs that you have in running a meeting like this. And, it's thanks to their forward-thinking nature, because it's always a risk, sponsor an event. Is it really going to represent our brand? And I think they take that risk and they're out there, and I think as a firm of accountants, that's what you should be doing. So if you haven't already spoken to the guys from ASITS, where are you, Hayley and Rob, then do take the opportunity, because they're great people. And thank you. A little round of applause especially for them. And also without Anna from One Stop, it's a great, you need a primary and a secondary sponsor to really pull these things off. And then we can make sure that we're giving as much back to charity as we can. So thank you to Anna for stepping out as well. That's really cool. A little round of applause for Anna. And to MAF, the charity that we really love here at King's Summit. We've supported them each year, and we want to continue to do that. I want you to imagine, if you would, for a moment, I need probably a slide change. Imagine a place where there are no roads. Imagine living in a place that's completely cut off from the outside world, isolated. Imagine a place that's hemmed in by mountains with access only by dirt tracks wide enough for a donkey. Or where the trees are as thick as walls, so very difficult to get through. Or imagine a place where all you can see, your whole life, is sand and nothing else. Or imagine a place where all you know, all your life, is sea, and you live in a house on stilts, and your walkways are on wooden boards. Imagine those places becoming even more difficult than they are to live in because of war or climate change. That water's creeping up to those boards every year. In Pakistan this year, an area the size of Wales was flooded. This wasn't any ordinary flood. The water rose to the tops of the trees. Now that's a flood of biblical proportions. Imagine if you're born there. Aren't we lucky that we were born here? We might moan about this country sometimes, but aren't we lucky we're born here? Because where you're born, you never had a choice over where you were born. Imagine if you'd had children and they were having to grow up in places like this. In places where people are actually becoming poorer and poorer and more vulnerable every day. Thank God for MAF. MAF was started by 2 Second World War Spitfire pilots based here in Kent. It's now the largest humanitarian airline of small planes in the world. Nearly 2,000 charities, many of which you probably support already, like British Red Cross, Oxfam, etc., they rely on MAF to get their doctors, their aid, whatever it is, into these places because the only way in is by plane and the only way out is by plane. A plane takes off every 5 minutes somewhere in the world, which is phenomenal when you think about it. So what I'd like to do is just show you a little video of who MAF is. And on your tables, if you feel compelled, and you please, this is entirely your decision, if you feel compelled, on your tables is an envelope. Looks a bit like this. Oh, should have got this before, shouldn't I? A little envelope like this, if you feel compelled to top up our giving today. And if you do that, then what we'd love you to do in the lunchtime is then take that envelope to the guys at the back where it says MAF, funnily enough. And they've got a gift for you, which is this beautiful book, which just shows you all the different places in the world where MAF are. I can't really show it to you from up here, but do have a look anyway at this beautiful, beautiful book. And it tells the story of MAF. MAF is a Kent charity. It has offices here in Folkestone and in Ashford. And it's making a real difference in people's lives. Without them, there are probably millions of people that might not even actually be alive right now because of how vital their support is. So let's just watch this video. King, if you can whiz me through and drop the lights, that'd be great.
For over 70 years, this is what we've been doing, getting up early to get out there and fly. What motivates me is just seeing change, being that essential lifeline that makes a huge difference around the world. We're flying every day into isolated communities where there's no road, there's no infrastructure. We're coming onto the sides of mountains, we're going into the remote bush. We're taking that life wherever we go. When we talk about flying for life, we mean it in the fullest sense of the word. It's not just about food and water and a safe place to live, but it's about health, it's about education, it's about transformation of communities and seeing them thrive, and it's about taking Jesus' love into those places. MAF was started by a couple of World War II pilots. They'd returned from the war, they'd been using aircraft to drop bombs, and now they could see that aircraft could be used to bring life and to bring hope. It was a very humble beginning, just one aircraft, but that aircraft was fueled by the prayers of many. We are pilots and engineers, we are IT specialists, we are administrators, we are managers, but we're so much more. We're the faithful prayer partners at home, we're the people helping raise the funds. Together we are Mission Aviation Fellowship. I don't know yet what transformation my flights today will bring. I don't know what transformation every other flight will bring. But I know this, that for every flight we do, we are motivated by flying for life.
Wow, what a great charity. Maybe we could just give them a round of applause for the work that they do. Wonderful, wonderul stuff. So, as I say, there's an envelope there on the table if you feel compelled to add to what we're already going to donate from today's event. Thank you so much. Before I hand the mic over to you guys, it was very remiss of me last year. I felt terribly guilty for about at least a day for not saying thank yous to certain people, and I want to make sure I do that now. Obviously, thank you to the sponsors again. Thank you to all of our speakers. You know, it's not easy to stand up here. It's so high up here, I'm getting a nosebleed. I mean, really. But they've done a great job, haven't they, in just informing us and shaping us and giving us some thoughts and ideas. So maybe a round of applause for our speakers. You know, I mean, just going back to the sponsors, we need more. We would like to reach more places in the UK with the King's Summit. We would like to have bigger events. One of the things that the sponsors don't realise, and in fact you don't realise, is we're praying for you. We're praying for your business. We're praying for you to be successful and prosperous. And whether you like it or not, we pray for you. And we really believe that you're blessed. You're blessed by being here, and our sponsors are blessed. And that if your business is, you know, you look at the King's Summit, if you've been coming for years, I pretty much guarantee your business will be thriving. If it's not, come and talk to me afterwards, because I've got maybe something wrong, but it's thriving. We're seeing that. I want to thank our wonderful team of prayer partners and volunteers. I want to thank Michael, our timekeeper, the world's tallest man at the back, which is fantastic. I want to thank King James, who's been, incredible, making this event happen. And Chizzy, his wife, who's just been so amazing, sat there, putting us out to the 4.1 billion people that are watching. Thank you, Chizzy. To Amy, our host, thank you, Amy. Wonderful job. To Bonnie, Tatiana, Rosie, and especially to Elaine, who came yesterday evening as well and helped us. Amazing. And to Sharon. Big round of applause to Sharon. You wouldn't believe how much goes into organising an event like this, and it would not have happened without Sharon and the amount of work she's done. So Sharon, thank you so much. And finally, thank you to Jesus, the author of my faith. May he bless you and your family and your business. And now I would like to, before we get into the open mic, I'm going to invite Paolo up because Paolo's going to, I promised him a couple of minutes to talk about his business, and you can shape the way then, Paolo, so that other people then, if you want to just talk about your business, promote it, let us know who you are, what you do, then for the next 10 or 15 minutes or so we're going to do that, and then we're going to enjoy lunch, which is just around the corner, and take an opportunity to speak to as many people, take an opportunity to see Math and the guys at the back, the Christian businesses in Kent, One Stop Insurance, and the team from Azet. So, Paolo, if you want to come up. Do you want to do it from there, or do you want to come up? Yeah, come up. He needs a mic, Tatiana. Thank you. Great stuff. Paolo. This is Paolo, everybody. Over to you.
So, my name is Paolo. I'm the founder of forthcoming, business coaching firm. And my ideal client is Ian and everyone that thinks like him. And I help businesses going from wearing all the hats to the exit. And I want to talk to you about business coaching.
You need a mic.
I want to talk to you about business coaching and how long it has been there. So I tried to look back and try to find out how far does it go. And I found that the oldest thing I could find is actually in the Bible. And it's in Exodus, chapter 18, from 12 to 26. And I'm going to change the story a bit, or at least give a different perspective from the business side, just to let you understand the value of coaching and how it can carry your business to where you want it to be, or where it needs to be, to impact other people and to be fruitful. So, Jethro was Moses' father-in-law. Moses' father-in-law, and Moses was the CEO of a business that he didn't own. Well, the owner and chairman in this case was God. And Moses was wearing all the hats. He was, you can follow later on if you want. Moses was wearing all the hats, and his task was really affecting the business performance and how well the clients were being served. Everyone was overwhelmed, and especially him. So there was a coach, his father-in-law, that came and saw how hard he was fighting and gave him a new perspective, that he shouldn't wear all the hats. He should actually work hard on getting a proper team and managers to administer and to deliver all the services that the clients actually needed. And the clients were the people, in this case. And they worked together until everything was working perfectly. And now he only had to deal with the big issues. So now he had time for his family, and he could let Jethro go.
Oh, wow. Okay. Excellent. All right. Thank you, Paolo. Well done. So if you want to speak to Paolo, guess what Paolo's job is, other than preacher? He's a coach. He's a coach, so he is a business coach. So if you're feeling overwhelmed in your business and you're looking for a coach, then go and have a chat with Paolo. You just made it up. Okay, perfect. And my whole team are in the room, in fact. So if you're speaking to someone and they say they're a coach, they're probably one of my team, which is absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Okay, look. Tatiana has the mic. Who would like to? Phil. That was just going to happen, wasn't it? Yeah. Over to you, Phil.
Hi, everyone. I was a bit cheeky. I put our company brochure out on your table so you can have a look at what we actually do properly. But just wanted to say hello. We're a family-run, my wife's the MD, hygiene service company based in Herne Bay. We cover the whole of the southeast. Predominantly the main core of our business is looking after somewhere like here or any business locally, solicitors, for the disposal of the feminine hygiene bins. So any business that employs a lady or has visitors into their building have the duty of care to have a ladies' sanitary bin in place. I have used the unisex toilets here, and I've noticed there's not been here, so I'll be speaking to someone here about that to offer our services. The thing that separates us from our competitors, we do no contracts, so we pride ourselves on our service, is what some of the speakers were saying about how important service is. But we also, one of the other speakers said about how important it is to look after the single customers to the big ones, just as the same. We're the same, so solicitors with one bin gets treated the same as the universities. We look after that on the road with the same service. So we're looking to speak to facility managers, office managers, anyone that's with the national companies like Canon, PHS, Initial. Please, we've got our business cards. We'd love to try and support you guys and reduce your costs and support another local family-run business. And thanks for today. Cheers.
Hi everyone, my name's Wyn Fanshawe from Capture the Event. I come from a global sponsorship and events background, but that all went out of the window, obviously, when the pandemic broke. I then sort of had to question myself as to what the purpose was and what I was going to do. And piecing it all together, I then realized that a lot of what I was doing was in photographic imagery. I'm not a photographer, I can't tell you one end of a camera from another, but strategically I'd seen the power of imagery work. And I then spent the last 18 months talking to academics, talking to neurologists, life scientists in universities, and talking to the healthcare sector. I've set a moonshot, and that moonshot is fast becoming a reality. The moonshot is really to demonstrate that the emotional power of sports photographic imagery can empower individuals of all ages, from classroom up to care homes, into measurable uplifts in physical and mental health. And the brain processes images faster than anything else. The key to it is getting an emotional connection, which can then pull the behavioral change. Whether you like sport or not, there is very powerful imagery that emotionally can engage. I'm working with the major event owners, and what I'm really looking for now is even closer connections into government, into local authorities and the healthcare sector. Thank you.
On this side. Oh, there we go. Oh, sure. Hi everyone, my name is Becca. I run a business in Ashford, so we have a shop called The Beehive. It is a shop, it is a cafe, it is a community space that supports primarily women, although definitely not just women. We provide them with free clothing, with volunteering opportunities so that they can get into work. We provide a community space where people who are feeling isolated and lonely can be. Like, there is many spokes to the wheel of what we do at The Beehive. We've been running in Ashford for 5 years now. We are celebrating our 5th birthday this week, this month, in fact. Thank you very much. And if you really want to hear the full story about what we're doing, we have released a podcast called Rubies and Gold. My host of the podcast is sitting here and would tell me if I didn't say that. But we are actually looking to step into franchising our business. So that is our kind of next step for us, to be able to open more beehives. Ideally, we'd love one in every town across the country, because we feel like every town needs that centre of community and also Jesus on the high street as well. So we have got the lovely Laura here, who's from Dover and is hoping to open Beehive Dover very soon. So yeah, if you want to hear more about that, if you've got a little bit of funding, we definitely wouldn't say no to that as well. But yeah, thanks for having us today. It's been really lovely.
Afternoon, everyone. I'm Sam. I run a travel agency with the network called Travel Counsellors, and I've been helping Mission Aviation Fellowship for a number of years with their international travel. They've got people all over the world, some weird places like Papua New Guinea and East Timor. It's difficult places to get to, and I've been helping them with their flights. So corporate travel, and also I do some nice holidays as well. So I've been to a lot of countries. I've got some good knowledge, and I'm based in Kent, so if you want a holiday or corporate travel, come and get a business card from me afterwards. And also, it's my birthday today, so thank you.
Okay. Hello, good day everyone. First of all, let me thank Simon for inviting me to this summit today, and it's been wonderful listening to all the presentations today. Well, just to tell you about my own private business. I'm a pastor, first of all, of a United Reformed Church like this one in Swanley, but my business, private business, is in speaking, mentoring, and coaching. And I believe that everything rises and falls on leadership. So my speaking, my coaching, my mentoring is about helping leaders find their strength so that they can do the best of what they are doing. So let's support one another in Kent. Let's make businesses in Kent grow and flourish. So if you want to invite a coach, a speaker, a mentor to your team, there's the person to meet. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Kate, and I'm representing the University of Kent and the Kent Business School. Today's been excellent to hear from leaders in business, and that's what we're about, trying to connect with businesses with the business school. So amongst all the other things that we might have spoken about before, we've got the Kent and Medway Business Summit taking place on the 13th of January 2023, where we showcase how academics, businesses, and our strategic partners, the council and the government, can work together to grow the economy of Kent. So I'd love to welcome you all. Thank you.
Shy. Oh, yes, Joe.
Hi everyone, I'm Joe. I'm here with Adam today. If you can't tell who we're representing, it's probably something wrong with your eyes, because we've managed to plaster Christian businesses in Kent over everything. So I'm a web designer. Adam is an accountant. I think it's fair to say, grew to have a love-hate relationship with networking through trying to grow our businesses. Maybe you feel the same. What networking is great for is for meeting people, making connections. Where sometimes I think it can fall down is we don't go any deeper than that. So with Christian Businesses in Kent, the main thing that we do is we run a monthly online Zoom meeting where it's okay to come and want to grow your business, but also we support each other. We provide sort of discipleship and not so much mentoring, but that group mentoring, I suppose, is probably a good way to say that. So you've got a leaflet on your table with our website. You can find out more there. It's free to come along. And very excitingly today, not only is it also my birthday, but we've got the inaugural in-person CBIC event. So after you've had your lunch, once everything's finished up here, we're meeting round the corner at Cafe Nero. So do come and join us. If you want any more details, then come over.
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. One more. We have one more opportunity. Great.
Thank you. My name is Stuart Tanton. I'm the director of a charity by the name of the Kent Foundation. The Kent Foundation is a charity that supports young entrepreneurs and business owners in Kent, so between the ages of 18 and 30. And thank you for the opportunity to come this morning and share this. We recruit business leaders from around the county to provide a little bit of free time to support the next generation of business leaders. And if there's anybody in the room who would like to know more about it, please speak to me. We're always on the lookout for support in that way through funding as well. And also, if you have young people that you know who are starting on this journey in business leadership, please put them in touch with us. We would be very happy to help. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay. Right, well, if your stomachs are beginning to rumble, you'll be pleased to know it's now 1 o'clock. And we invite you to have lunch with us. We're here till 2:30, so there's lots to do. You don't need to kind of scoff and go. Stay around, have a chat, see the guys at MAF and all the other people that are here and people that you've heard this morning. We would love you to stay with us for a little while longer. Thank you very much for being part of the King's Summit 2022. We will have King's Summit 2023 next year. Don't know where, don't know when. Should burst into song, shouldn't I? But we will be back next year and we would love you to come and join us again. In the meantime, have a safe journey home after you've had your lunch. Thank you.